Jackalmen Games was founded with the intent to inform and have fun. That's what we aim for every time we press record. Thanks for taking the time to learn and giggle right there with us. Hello, and welcome to another Jackalmen Games podcast. I'm your host, Stonegood, here with Fortune Voyager and Karma. What's up, lady and gent?
How's it going, boss man?
How's it going, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a late night here on the East Coast. You in Central Time, it's not as late. Just so you know, we were supposed to start an hour ago, but my two co-hosts had to go eat a whole bunch of carbs.
Listen, carb life or no life. That's all it is.
The town we live in has a lot of restaurants constantly opening, so we just have to try them all.
Yeah, they sent me a picture of, what was it, fettuccine alfredo and pizza?
And sliders as well.
Oh my goodness. Just weird aside, I started going to a gym and you sent that picture of all those carbs and I was like, can I be at that table with you, please? I'd like to be there.
I mean, if you want to fly down, it's no problem.
I mean, I'd rather force jump. Alright, lame one. This episode, if you're checking, you check the title before you start. It's called One More Time. I also had the intro of One More Time by Daft Punk, and I don't care if it gets demonetized. I love that song, and it's been stuck in my head, and it's going to be the theme of this week's podcast because Convergence is upon us. It's coming soon. I just put in my pre-order with our local shop up in New Jersey in Boonton. And so it's finally feeling like it's time to close the yearbook.
Oh man, yeah, I got my pre-order in with my shop. I got 3 boxes for myself. Maul, who lives with me and shares a collection, is buying 2 boxes, so we got like 5 boxes all to ourselves.
I have 2 boxes pre-order plus 1 copy of each set that's coming out for the starter sets. So that's like 7 boxes just between like 3 of us.
So I know my wife is in the other room and she can hear me, but I pre-ordered 3 boxes and 2 copies of both starter decks, and I told her that, and she's like, "Oh, it's not going to be more than $200 then, right?" And then I laughed.
Oof.
So I know she doesn't listen to this, so she'll never find out. But and I need to apologize for the last episode. Our levels were all screwy. I was very quiet, and I found out, like, if you're an audio engineer, I found out that capturing the output of your computer from 2 different sources just makes everybody way louder on the other side and cancels out your noise. So that's why I was so quiet compared to everybody else. Hopefully we got it good this one. You could hear me whisper there.
Yeah, I actually thought they weren't too bad. There were a couple of spots where you got hard to hear. But everything came through on my end, and I thought y'all had a lot of really great content, so it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, so editing it was a pain because I would actually go through, and wherever my voice was isolated, I'd amplify myself by 200%. So it was even that. Like, I needed to amplify everything so you could even hear me.
Oof.
Yeah, so I was embarrassed about that one, and the views don't, or the listens don't lie. Anyways, moving forward, before we get all nostalgic and talk about Awakening Cycle that's going to move on, I wanted to talk about the future. We have a huge event coming up that James is really in deep with planning. Do you want to tell everybody about that?
On April 27th, if I remember my dates correct.
You're right.
In Mount Dora, Florida at Breakpoint. All of the Jackalmen will be showing up to host what we're calling the first annual Jackal Hunt. It's basically all 7 of us Jackalmen will be running Bounty Hunter themed challenge decks, and it'll just be ran like a normal tournament. But every time you beat a Jackalman, you get a prize. And the first person to beat 3 Jackalmen gets the big bounty prize at the end of it. On top of that, we've got a crap ton of prizes. I'll go ahead and say that we've got 2 boxes worth of packs to give out. We've got a whole ton of tokens, and we'll keep some more of it kind of on the down low for the announcements as it gets closer. But it's going to be an amazing time with a whole lot of content from a whole bunch of content creators to win when you show up.
Do you want to mention who is sending us free stuff to raffle off?
Well, we've got a lot of people that we're in talks with. We haven't finalized a lot of decisions yet, but we've been talking to everyone from iRebel to Artificery to Hyperloops. We even got a hold of Team Covenant, and we're trying to see if we can't get them to send us any goodies. So we've got a little bit of something from everywhere around the country. It's going to be awesome.
And I have a spoiler alert too.
Let's hear it.
So the gentleman that ran Kappa Cup up in the north around October, early November, is coming to stay at my house this weekend. What's up, Adam? I know you're listening to this. He stayed at my house for the weekend for the regional in Booton, and he actually got Executioner spot glasses donated from FFG.
What?
So, like for his event, so I'm gonna pick his brain and ask him, how did you get FFG to give you some goodies, man? So that's gonna be our weekend. Is I'm gonna be finding out how to get even more awesome stuff from the people who created the game.
Very nice. We've already got pretty much all the massive content creators throwing goodies at us, so to get even FFG added in, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be spectacular. Okay, so that's the news there. The other news is that Ashton has made some. Actually, no, he's made all of the proxies that have been spoiled from every content creator and FFG themselves. They have been released to our patrons first, but only for 48 hours advance. Like, we're not holding on to them for long. And then we give them to the public. As of right now, I think every single one is public. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If I remember correctly, the newest set drops public tomorrow.
Okay.
So
as
probably
of
by the time people are hearing this, yes, they should all be public.
yeah, it's going to take me more than tomorrow to edit this. So long and short of it is go to Florida and play with the proxies.
There you go. It'll be a fun time, and it's after the set releases too, so you can come to Florida and play the brand new standard in the first major tournament.
Get your practice in now. So have you guys been playing with the new proxies at all? Are there any pairings that you've been working on?
Yeah, I've been playing with a few. I've been working with Ashton to kind of get some videos made whenever he drops a new set. The pairings that I've tried out has been one with Mace Ayla, and one with oh god, who was the other one? Phasma Trooper. And I like Phasma Trooper. It's super thematic, very fun, but it has like 0 health, so it dies immediately. And Mace, I'm really loving Mace. I can't wait to actually like get a hold of him and play him.
My biggest thing I've been looking forward to so far is the Infus Nest card. I've been like in love with her character since I saw the solo movie, and I also have shield tokens that match, so I think it would be pretty amazing just to be able to have that character pairing along with my tokens, play it in real life. I haven't got to do the proxies yet, but I really want to make a pairing with her and Chewie and try to make something work with that. It just seems like it'd be a lot of fun with the new stuff they've been coming out, like the scoundrels and things like that. I just think it's going to be different and it's going to bring something new for the game to make it more fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
I've been cooking up something, and I need more 8 or 6 cost red characters to be invented, either neutral or hero, so that I can do my idea. I also need cards that spot troopers to be invented. I have a very healthy mill deck in mind, and hopefully FFG pulls through for me.
You always manage to cook up some of the weirdest stuff, so I can't wait to figure out what you're doing.
I kind of want to sneak into it a little bit. I know every major competitive player is going to cringe when I say this, but it's Lando 1 die, it's Rose 1 die, and Yoda 1 die. So it's a 30 health rainbow mill that focuses on getting the dream roll of Stealthy's special and Lando's $4 side.
That sounds very ridiculous.
I played against our good friend Sir Lone Star, and he was running an Infest Nest deck of, I forget who he's paired with. I think it was Talzin. She was paired with. Yeah, And that game was ridiculous and silly, and I god rolled the special and $4 side, and he couldn't mitigate it about 3 times. So
Yo, while we're talking about weird pairings with Infest Nest, I saw somebody pair her with Yoda, and you know her ability to let you put 2 villain and 2 hero cards into your deck. So she was paired with Yoda and Vader's Fist.
oh my gosh! You can do that!
You can, and oh my god, it's ridiculous.
So the 2 villain cards will always be duplicate copies of Vader's Fist from here until infinity.
Until the next standard kicks in and it's just gone again.
But she can just pay. She can pay for it. She can resolve her $2 signs or $2 sides for free.
That's very true. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Actually, shout out, I believe it was the Outer Rim guys from Birmingham that posted a video about that.
I'm also holding my brand new Vader's Fists, and I'm very happy. So
I've never seen a man more happy to get fisted.
okay, so let me tell you the story about these and why I'm so happy that they came here. I just recently moved, and eBay autofilled my address when I was punching it in, and it sent it to the same street address and the same street name, but the wrong town. And luckily, that address didn't exist on that street in that town, so they got bounced back. And so I waited 3 weeks for these Vader's Fists to go to the wrong address and then come to me.
Nice. Well, at least you got them now, just in time for your big event.
I'm not using them, so
Rip.
yeah, I'm not using them. I'm going to move on to the nostalgia section, the yearbook section, the most important crux of this. I asked a question to our Discord. The question was, what character from the Awakenings block are you most known for at your locals, and why? So we got a handful of responses, and we're all going to take turns sharing out our Discord ease answers. So the first one is from Jedi Geek Girl. She says that she's most known for Po Mons, but she gets minus half credit because she did not explain why.
And Sir Lone Star mentioned that he was known for Kanan because he was super neat and paired with all kinds of things, which is definitely true. Kanan, I really wanted to find a spot for him, but I just never made it.
Kanan's just the right point cost. He's
Yeah.
913.
Kind of like the original Yellow Ezra. He's just kind of there to fill in your remaining points.
All right, so we got our own Headless Django on here from Jackalmen, who mentioned 3 characters, actually. So he had mentioned Jin, Luke 1, and Aura. He mentioned that he loved to play them and always search for different ways to play them as far as character pairings go.
So that's our own Headless Django, and the teacher in me wants to subtract points because he named multiple characters instead of just one. I'm a mean teacher.
Didn't you aren't you mentioning 2 as well?
No. Yes. Spoiler alert.
Fell.
So Sir Lone Star also adds that he likes Hera, but 0 Hour from Artificery.
Correct.
Okay.
Artistry.
He says Krennic because no one else played him.
And then good old Waffle says good old FN before he was quote unquote fixed.
And then, of course, the last one, Thunder Ray. Django fit because he won a Sword Champ with him.
Actually, that's not the last one. There's more.
The last,
But wait,
the last
there's
one
more.
the last one in that group of messages.
So our boy Monk from Monk's Battlefield Gaming is, you all know the answer to that one if you follow any other content creators. It's Stank Daddy Palp.
Yeah, there's definitely no other answer for him. Draken says either Daddy Vader or Emo Vader, so we probably know what he's running currently.
Bama Rice, which is actually one of the guys from the Birmingham group for the Outer Rim. He put Terrible Asajj. She was the first deck I brought to a local and thought she was dominant. She dominated the L column, not the right.
We've been arguing about how to pronounce this boy's name, and he's going to come up later. I say Hessian, but James says...
I say Hessian.
Okay, so...
And I'm saying Haitian.
Haitian. Hessian.
That's not Haitian.
Anyways, he says Hera Syndulla, Space Mama. She was the character that introduced me to vehicles back in April 2018, and he hasn't looked back. and he's always trying to make her work.
So, fun fact, I will always connect you to Space Mama because of Momocon and the playmats.
Yeah, I've never played a deck with Space Mama.
But just every time you saw that playmat, you were like, oh, Space Mama!
She's so wholesome and good and takes care of everyone. She is wonderful and great and deserves a second copy of her in the new rotation.
Would you say she deserves a second chance?
But
No. She's not a yellow character, so no.
Good old Skillet rounds us out with the pairing of Django Ara and Kanan Ahsoka.
What is your character or characters that define you, Karma and Fortune?
All right, so the one I actually picked two. The first one is my major one that fits for me as far as for our locals, which is Luminara. It seems kind of random, but I tried so hard to make her work in the deck. When me and James started playing, we started kind of late. Empire War hadn't been out very long, and then they were just starting to do the second wave of stuff with Legacy. So my pairing for a long time was Luminara and Ayla, and I just played that deck constantly, and it was like my favorite thing. And I tried to make it work. I actually beat decks like Sabine Ezra with it just from playing with it, and it was like my favorite thing. And I just wanted it to work so well. So that was like my top one, and then my second one was Django. I just loved the idea of the fact there was a Django card. There was no Boba Fett at the time, and I just really wanted to make him work. And then when he came out, I was okay with doing a 2-die Boba Fett and a 1-die Django just so I could put them in a deck together. It wasn't good.
All right. So when I first heard this question, I immediately knew who my choice was. But the minute that I read the question out loud, Deanna corrected me, apparently. So I've got two as well. The one that she says I'm the best known for is Thrawn. Thrawn was kind of the first character that I took to a big event. I played him forever, played Thrawn Towson, which is what I took to MomoCon, which was my first event. And I love Thrawn. I still love playing him. Kind of sad that he got massively broken with a great partner like Snoke and got hit because of it. But hey, it is what it is. My other one that I thought I'd be known for would be Cad, because I took a character that wasn't being played by anyone. As soon as Snoke was spoiled, I was like, hey, this guy's going to be amazing, and this pairing's going to be amazing. And everybody was like, nah, you're dumb. So I took it to a store championship and won with it. And that made me feel super good. And spoilers, I may or may not be done with Cad before rotation. We'll see.
You're giving him his one more time?
I'm giving him his one more time.
Are you going to give Luminara her one more time?
I would definitely be willing to try to do it again before rotation hit.
My two, because I'm picky too. My two are Padme and Riken, but for two different reasons. There was a deck back when I started playing called Miller Time. Do you recall that one?
Oh my god, yes.
Okay, so that Miller Time was Riken, Padme, and Jedi Instructor. It was Rainbow Mill. It was all one dice. And I think that's back when Hyperspace Jump was broken, right?
Yeah, back in the days of the Hyperloop.
Okay, so I took her and I made a precursor to Millionaires because it's Padme, Yoda, and Jar Jar. So all the point costs are the same. Padme is Cassian, Yoda is Yoda, and Jar Jar is Anakin. And I made a mill deck, and I made 3 videos of it on our channel. You can go way back, you'll see it, and it's dated before Millionaires happened. And then I loved her, but Cassian is just a better Padme, and Anakin is a way better Jar Jar. So, Padme is one of my favorite characters, as well from the movies. So I held true to her. And Riken is in a deck that I'm now calling Snow Day, which I'm taking to my regionals, and I'm giving him his one more time.
I like that at least 2 out of the 3 of us are giving our characters one last send-off.
Yeah. This weekend. I'm going to miss that boy Riken so much.
I'm going to miss Cad so much.
I mean, eventually I would assume they're definitely going to make reprints, just not crazy action cheating like Cad.
And I feel like Riken is one of the most fair mill cards out there.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. There's a lot of ways to slow him down and stop him, but if you get rolling.
So, answer in your head. What's your one more time? And you can comment on this video because it's posted on YouTube. It won't be monetized because I'm totally taking copyrighted music and putting it on the intro and outro. But yeah, post down there or send more messages in the Help Us podcast section if you want to be featured. At least your tag name, and we look forward to hearing from you. Hard switch. Hey, future Kevin and Karma and Maul here. We all went to our own regionals, but I didn't do so hot. But two of us did do hot. What's up, Karma and Maul?
Yeah, it went great. I was able to bring the trophy home. We went to the finals, and I ended up facing Karma, and she was playing her beloved Rex Kira deck. She also went 4-1 in Swiss, and she also mollywopped her opponent at the top tables, and so she got to me. We were kind of, loosely, we were like, all right, we're gonna take this serious. And game one wasn't too difficult on my end. I feel like things just kind of worked. Game two, things went in the complete opposite spectrum, where I got wrecked. And then game three was the hardest game I've ever played of Star Wars. I'd probably say I've ever played of any card game in my life, and it was down to the bone. I was on my back foot most of the game, and I feel like there was just a crack I was able to get into. I always hate playing against that deck because it's really scary, because there's no die side on Rex that you don't want to see, and the deck is just so consistent.
Here's the situation. You guys got put into a thing called a hyperscoop scenario, and you did not hyperscoop against each other. Two teammates against each other. Was there a conversation of like, all right, you got it, or was it like, no, we're playing this out?
No, that was never a conversation.
No, we were just like, we're playing this. But we were like, regardless, the trophy goes home. We're playing for the national bye. Like
exactly.
So there was a stake on the line, and like honestly, at that tournament, besides maybe James, like I don't think there was anybody else that I would want to have played against, like with a certain deck, because like I played against her at my last table and at Mary Sithmas, and I was playing Boba Snoke, and I was able to like the first time I ever beat that deck out of like getting stomped like 0-10 against it. And it almost gave me a heart attack. And I feel like I had a stroke on camera against it.
It's like basically anytime me and Maul have a game against each other, he's just like, oh my God, why?
Yeah.
It's like every occasion, he's just like, I don't want to go against that, like every time, but he wins. Even though he's like, I don't want to do it.
Well, it's because you're a great player, really, and it's like you don't make a lot of mistakes. And I feel like me and you kind of are in the same boat, where it's like we are very unorthodox with how we do certain things, and our play styles and deck building is a little different than the normal meta players. And I feel like that's what normally gives us the heads up. And so knowing that, me and you sitting at the table, our skill levels, how we build our decks and the way we play, it's a lot harder and it's a lot more thinking to get ahead, where it's like, okay, a normal player is going to do this play in this situation, where like me and you, we look at this situation completely different, possibly, and we can see all the different nooks and crannies of, our deck and such, and our opponent's deck. If anybody, as soon as we get it on the channel, and hopefully we can get it soon, if anybody hasn't seen our game from the stream or anything like that, because I know we were having some kind of technical issues, definitely go check it out. That game will be hopefully as good and as much of a heart attack for you as it was for me. There was an instance on stream where my opponent, who was playing Yoda Hondo, I think it was my round 3 opponent or round 4 opponent, I can't remember. He had a loaded up Yoda and everything. He goes to play. He plays Rebel or Rebel, however people want to say it. And he targets his easy pickings in the graveyard or graveyard discard pile, whatever. And Hondo was dead. And I tell him, I was like, okay, you can't resolve that. And that's how I might have said you can't do that, but like because he said remove these 2 dice, and I said you can't remove my dice or something like that. And so he's like, oh yeah, Hondo's dead. I think because Hondo. He said why? I said because Hondo's dead, and he tries to take the action back.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, you can't. Like, I was like, any other card like that, I would allow it. But since Easy Pickings is a legal target, I have to let it stand as like that's what you did. I felt bad about it, but it's one of those where it's like, even though he didn't know in that situation, it's still like it's an important play, and it's like a learning situation. You know,
No,
I don't.
yeah, no, I completely agree.
But all I did was I explained it to him afterwards. You know, so like they grew from the game.
I had a gentleman in my last round of my regional who was so incredibly upset at his own deck. But every time he rolled out damage, he would just immediately pull it back because he's like, "You're going to mitigate it anyways." so, so his dice got sloppy, and like he pulled back something that I didn't mitigate. I didn't mention it to him, but
Wow.
yeah, he was a very grumpy boy. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's up to you as a player to you're there. So okay, so regionals are hyper competitive events. Now, if it's a store championship, I would have let you probably taken it back. Or if it's a locals, I'd let you taking it back. Explaining. But hyper competitive events where things like national buys and trophies and stuff like that are on the line, I cannot. What I can do is after the game, I can explain to you why things work the way they do and help you become a better player with the mistakes that I saw you make. I just can't tell you at that exact point. But it is important for players, even though they play the game casually, they want to go to a regionals. That's cool. It's still up to you and your duty as a player to come as prepared as, say, me or any of the other Jackalmen, knowing the rulings, knowing what your cards do, knowing how things interact, because we have the same amount of resources as you do.
Yeah.
And so you can't be mad at us or your opponent for a mistake that you made because you didn't do your homework or that you were as prepared for the regional or anything like that. And that's not me being mean or trying to be rude, being like blunt, like, because we all play this game for fun, but we also play to be competitive and to be good at the game. And being good at the game and being competitive and being fun, we want to show that. And by winning and stuff, we had a lot of fun in our game, Deanna. Like we had a great deal.
We probably had too much fun in our game. Everybody else is way serious in their top first, second place videos, and we're over here just cracking up.
Yeah,
The whole thing, the whole like hour we played our 3 games.
I was salty. And I was like, look, I can be salty right now, or I can like crack jokes and be funny. And I was like, and it will help me. And that's what I did instead, because it helped my morale. It helped me, like, my mind stay in the game, because I felt like if I let myself get tilted, I would have just flat out lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Like, people don't realize that, like, people like us that, especially like content creators and stuff that want to, like, organize events like we're doing, go to a lot of events like we do, all this stuff. We put a lot of time in preparation, whether it's rulings, like, because we're always asking Fortune for rulings, like, hey, how does this work? We're always play testing, we're always building, we're always giving new ideas and all this other stuff, and we put a lot of time into it. So for people to not, like, regionals aren't, like, they're supposed to be fun, but they're also supposed to be serious.
Yeah, they're fun and they're competitive.
Can I make a caveat to your statement though?
Sure.
I put my game face rule boy pants on when I'm at like table 5, but when I'm at table 30,
yeah,
I'm gonna let you take that that rebel play back.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my take on not even, well, big tournaments in general, but just the game in general. So here's how I feel about it. Anytime there's a big thing coming up, say if it's a regional or if it's a national, but right now with regionals is a really good example. When you have like all these specific, especially right now, there's like 5 specific decks that are like super meta, and everybody wants to play them because they're like, these decks win. I should play this deck. If you are new or newish in the game, I don't suggest taking the meta decks because I see people play them because they win, but then they don't know how to play them, so they lose. And it's just like, why didn't this work? You get frustrated why it didn't work, but it's because you're missing triggers, you're missing plays, you're making bad plays. And it's just like, don't take it if you don't actually know how to play it or if you haven't tested with it. Um, Take something you know how to play or practice with it or make time to practice with it. That's how meta becomes meta, is when somebody finds something that works and it works really well. So if everybody plays the same 5 decks constantly, like we've been seeing throughout the entire regional, that's how we get the same 5 decks in the tops every single regional. And that was my goal, taking the Rex Kira deck, was to put that at the top and make it different and let something else different be in there that hasn't been in there. And that's what I wanted to do. That meant more to me than winning the national buy. That meant more to me than the trophy. Making something stand out and be up top meant more to me than any of the prizes they could have gave me, because I got to put something at the top nobody else has done. And that's what this game is about, is trying to build decks, make stuff different, and bring more to the game other than what's already out there that other people have already done. Be you, be different, play the game, play the cards that they give you. Don't play just the same 30 cards that everybody else is playing because it wins. It may not win for you if you don't know how to use it.
Like, I played Darth Vader's Advanced Tie in my version, and I've gotten shit on since people knew about it.
And I took a completely original mill list because I looked at my Yoda dice and I'm like, boy, my Yoda dice look like they're about to fall apart. Let's not play Yoda this regional. So I took Temple Guard instead. And I went 4-4. I know I could have went 6-2. I know I could have went 6-2. There was 2 games where it's like, I should have had those. And that would have been an amazing weekend.
It would have been amazing, like super amazing.
To take Riken, Anakin, and Temple Guard to 6-2.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but
that would have been amazing, and that's what I love about when I see people do stuff differently, trying to bring out other things, whether they think that'll be the deck that wins the whole thing or if they think it'll be just because they want to have fun. Just like Fortune took Cad Price, and did it do as good as he would have wanted it to? No, of course not. But it's not like he didn't have fun regardless, and he still got to give Cad another run, even if it wasn't with Snoke. If it had been with Snoke, he probably would have like busted it to the top because it's just good and he's a good player. But you still get to have fun trying something different either way, and you still get to take some people down along the way with it and show them like, hey, something else can do this other than Vader or other than Leia Yoda.
Eric, I want to ask you a question that I asked Karma and Fortune earlier in the podcast. Is if you had one character from this rotation that's going away that you could give one final hurrah, who would it be?
This actually sounds really weird, but Magna Guard.
Magna Guard?
Magna Guard is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars Destiny characters. I played this deck for a while. That was Afra Executioner Magna Guard, and it was disgusting. It was just like Dr. X, except for that they would die the turn because they wouldn't target Magna Guard first. Or if you targeted Magna Guard first, I still get a lot out and it puts me ahead. And so normally he would be the last one alive, and then you do lethal to him, and then you have nothing else to do, and I have all these supports still come in, and then I just kill you before it sees the end of the round. Yeah, it was really good. But if it was like an actual like big character that I played the most of and that I would give one last hurrah, it would definitely be Thrawn.
Agreed.
Because my Snoke Thrawn was like where I found my love for
Vader's fist. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
If Vader's fist didn't exist, the meta would be just so different right now.
Oh, okay. So I just want to dip in right now. I want to take a hot take on one spoiler because it makes me so mad. You ready?
Yes.
That Watt guy, not Wada.
Oh, dude, I'm super. Dude, as a vehicle player, and that's what I guess basically call myself. I can play everything because I've played anything from mill and got top with it to vehicles to aggro.
You didn't let me
But-
take my hot take.
Oh, sorry.
Let me take my hot take here, Eric.
The hot take.
I think he's going to destroy the game because Sienna, I was so glad Sienna's getting rotated out, and then they're like, no, wait, let's give you an almost a Sienna, but it's just as good. I think any character that's red that has two different resource sides is not good when Snoke is alive in the meta. So now we have to wait for Snoke to rotate out for Watt to be balanced. This is a problem.
I don't fully agree with that. I still believe that because it kind of goes down like he's not at 8 point. He's a what?
He's 9/12 with 9 health. I'm looking at the card now.
The most that you could get out of him is like in a great situation would be like a 1-die Snoke, 1-die Alpha, 1-die him, and then you play bitter rivalry or something. And it's really bad because like your dice mean so much, but then they don't. And it's like, and then you can't just play Watt with Snoke because you don't get enough value there. It's not the same as Thrawn because Thrawn has more health and he also has more stuff. And it's not as good as Afra because Afra has a passive ability which allows you to add more. It's just one of those situations where it's like,
No, I give it a full week before there is a Snoke Watt combo that breaks the game. And yep, that's my hot take.
The way to do it would be to play Elite Snoke or Watt or however you want to do it. Probably no. You'd have to play Elite Snoke, so you'd have to play Elite Snoke for this to work.
But you don't have to because Watt has a 1 focus and a 2 focus side. You don't have to.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let Maul have his hot take on it as well.
I mainly play Snoke, and I mainly play Snoke vehicle decks. So this is me looking on my outlook on it. The best way to play it was it feels bad to play Watt at Elite in that situation because he has less health, but it could be very He's literally, in my opinion, just kind of like an L3 type of card. But if you played Elite Snoke, 1-die Watt, and then you played like a Rebel Trader or like a Rebel Trader or something, like it's essentially the same thing as but you'd have to play better rivalry. And so it's kind of like it's not going to break the game, it's just going to put what's already there and keep it there. But it also makes it more balanced if you have to do it that way because it forces them they don't play AR, which I don't think they did in the first place. And then they also have to give you 2 free damage, and they also give you a free draw to be able to play that deck. And I feel like that's the best way to play that deck. Otherwise, you put yourself in a very bad character pairing for health-wise, and just for the amount of resources and stuff you have to go through. I don't still think it's worth it. But I feel like if there's anything, it would be that kind of avenue. Of course, you can play something like Greedo, and you don't have to play Bitter Rivalry. You just don't get as much out of it as Rebel Trader, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, just hearing all of your things, I'll put it to 2 weeks. 2 weeks until they find something. 2 weeks.
Like I said,
I've actually already got an idea in my head that I want to do now.
Sienna is definitely still better than Watt.
It's not where y'all are thinking, though.
That's fine. I mean, just Tobias Watt is where immediately I went.
I thought of that too, but I thought of another character because I'm determined to let villains still have their reset after Sienna's gone. So I have my way.
Watt is our Sienna replacement. I just don't think
he
it's
is
as good as Sienna.
Yeah, exactly. He can replace her, but at the same time,
he can't replace.
He can't replace her only because he doesn't have that ability to reset, and that's what Sienna had. That hero has plenty of for reset, but villain has none of.
You just got to get a villain card that can play hero cards and make sure it's red, and then play R2, and then you got it done.
Or you can play a neutral character that allows you to have hero and villain in the deck together.
Oh, yep. You mean Enfys Nest? You got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't steal my idea. Copyright it right now.
Enfys what?
Memphis
Yeah.
that I mean that could work.
Whatness?
You
Because
still
Whatness?
yeah, because it's 18 plus
Could you?
9, and then you put
It takes.
AR.
Well, you could, or you could just make it like retarded and have a bunch of uh, TIE fighters and stuff in it and just go ham.
Anyways, so I guess I'll just wrap up our little conversation here. That's good. Good to beef up the pretty bare bones podcast that this is going into. So,
I have a deck idea real quick.
sure.
What up?
I think. Hold on. Let me do this math in my head real quick. Yeah, you can play Snoke Wolf Watt
Don't be playing with my strings.
with Allies of Necessity.
Oh yeah, we didn't even start talking about allies of necessity. Oh
I
my
thought they had
god.
to all be the same color.
No, 2 have to be the same color.
Oh yeah, that's right. 2
So
rewards.
okay, so you
Right.
have Snoke with 2 reds. You have no money, but then your Watt has 2 resource sides that's gonna give you $3, and you play on feed. You have $4, whatever.
I was about to say Snoke literally laughs in the face of not having money.
Yeah, this is, and also you give him a partner that has 2 resource. Actually, you give him
Resource
2
size
partners
and focuses.
because you can have Watt and Watto. Like the hell.
You can literally you
Don't
can
give away my
you
secret.
can either make your money or you can roll the 2 discard and just completely wreck your opponent's hand and then still make your money. Probably you can put logistics in the deck.
Like
Still make your money.
exactly. I straight up thought like, okay, cool. So I feel like FFG is going to move to the way where making resources is a little bit more difficult because right now making resources is way too easy. And then they just went, thank you for coming, Eric. Thanks you for popping into our little podcast
Holla
things.
back. Appreciate it.
And we'll get back. I think we're gonna jump right into the Facebook question right about now. Here's the character that's going to be here for a long time. It's Greedo. And on the Facebook group, posted by a person named Almeric. Almeric?
Probably Almeric.
Almeric? Okay. He posted the best brain teaser question ever. And I screenshotted it right when I saw it, and I'm like, this is going on the podcast. And I want to make sure that James is on the podcast because he is our resident judge. So I am testing our judge man.
All right, so the question is, if player 1 has a Greedo at 6 out of 7 health, and player 2 has a Greedo at 6 out of 7 health, what happens when Greedo 1 kills Greedo 2 as far as their abilities interacting with each other? My original thought on this question was actually incorrect in that as soon as somebody is assigned enough damage to kill them, the game immediately ends and no other effects happen. While that is true, because Greedo's ability is a before effect, the way that it actually works is you resolve Greedo number 1's damage to kill Greedo number 2. Before he's defeated, Greedo number 2 rolls in, and if he rolls enough damage to kill Greedo number 1 and resolves it, Greedo number 1 takes the damage, cannot complete his ability, and is considered defeated before Greedo number 2. So if Greedo number 1 kills Greedo number 2 and then is killed by incoming damage, Greedo number 1 loses.
Is that because you're in the action, you're still in the action of resolving Greedo 1's damage?
Pretty much, yeah. Kind of the way that it works out is because they're before effects. Greedo 2's ability has to completely resolve before Greedo 2 is defeated. So the damage has to go through and be placed and dealt. And Greedo number 1 cannot assign any more damage to Greedo number 2 because he's already at his max health. So his ability fizzles and he dies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's one of those really, in my opinion, incorrect choices in the rules in the game, but that is how it currently works.
Where did you look this up? How did you look this up?
That would be answered from the Gandork on Discord.
Did you ask him personally, or has this question been asked before?
It was brought up on the Discord, probably after this.
Okay. This is, seriously, it was one of the most amazing questions that I'm sure will never, ever happen in a standard game of Destiny.
I've actually seen it happen, like in person, so.
Alright, well, fine.
I definitely agree with James as far as I feel like it seems wrong that the person making the move first being the one that could potentially be also the loser. It just seems backwards. Like you're dealing the damage first and their character's already dead. So it doesn't feel like it should matter. Like it feels like you won first because you did the damage first and killed their character before they could actually kill yours. But that's just how I feel about
You put yourself in a weird, like, Mos Eisley standoff. Like, I don't want, since we know how it works, I don't want to be the one to resolve damage.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a weird situation, but hey, that's pretty much all of Destiny.
So pretty much what you got to do is when you're showing lethal, you just pass, and then if the other person doesn't know the rules and goes, "Okay, kill you?" question mark. No, I win because I have damage showing lethal as well and can resolve it when Greedo's dead.
Basically, as far as I understand the ruling to this question.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so then also I hate this ruling, but I also like this ruling because it's who shot first, Greedo or Greedo.
Hey, thematic.
it. Yeah, that was literally what I was thinking. It was just became like a Han Greedo situation, except they both shot at the same time almost, and the person who shot second had a better shot.
Yeah, so I hate it and love it. All right, I guess that kind of rounds us out today on this podcast this week. You know, just like a normal yearbook, it's something that you look at really quick and then you just close it and put it in your closet. So that's what this podcast is turning into. You ready for plugs and goodbyes?
Let's do it.
Okay, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out the most. We love seeing your feedback on our Facebook page, on our website, on our Discord. We love seeing you there. We love seeing you in the comments. If you want to get some cards for, especially after Convergence comes out, make sure you stop by TopDeckTCG. Use the code Jackalmen10 for 10% off your order. Make sure you go to Breakpoint in Mount Dora, Fanatics in Dothan or Alabama if you want to play with those two. And make sure you come to Highlander in Boonton to play with me in New Jersey. So make sure you follow iRebel, Outer Rim, Artificery, Monk, Copilot, and Golden Dice if you want to see streams and other great content coming from them. Make sure you use a happy mixture of Star Wars Destiny Cantina and Star Wars Destiny Database for card information and to build your decks easy peasy. You know, when I first started taking over hosting this podcast, I did not like Star Wars Destiny Database, and I did not understand why everybody used it. And then I started building decks, and holy moly, does that smooth everything out.
The Destiny database is by far the best tool that we have for Destiny right now, in my opinion.
They don't have a team builder.
They don't, but you can do that math yourself, you know. Don't be lazy.
Or you could just go to Star Wars Destiny Cantina and go to Team Builder. The only thing is it has some wonky things that I would like. I'm pretty sure the creator knows. If you try to start building a deck with their deck builder or their team pairings, and you start with a neutral character, it only gives you neutral characters that they can pair with. It doesn't give you both hero and villain.
Just making sure everybody goes and checks out jackalmengames.com to check out the Jackal Hunt that we were talking about earlier if you haven't checked it out already, because it's going to be a huge deal. We're not giving out a ton of information right now because some things are still being planned. Some of the prizes, we don't want to spoil them because they're actually going to be some really great prizes. And we want to just try to like lay it out little by little to people just to keep people, keep you hyped, make you look forward to it. So if you have some way you can travel to Mount Dora, Florida to come to it, whether drive or have somebody drive with you, or if you feel like maybe it's worth flying because you love Star Wars Destiny that much, you get a chance to come hang out with us, play some games against us, try to beat us, get some amazing prizes.
Anybody that travels farther than me, and I'm traveling from New Jersey, you will win a special prize. I'll buy you lunch. There you go. I'll buy you lunch if you travel farther than me.
You can pull a headless Django and offer to buy beer and then never do it.
That boy. Okay, so our closing statement given to us by Hessian Sack, or Hessian Sack, is life is short, so smile while you still have teeth.
Also, just to cut in, JustCar316 just posted, if you can't bedazzle them with your brilliance. baffled them with your bullshit. Goodbye, folks.
And oh my goodness, at the last moment, the last possible moment.
One more time. One more time.